Welcome to our Week 2 episode of Big Blue Avenue. It is time for therapy, folks. I'm Tom Scavetta, joined alongside Sam Cardona. Sam, how are you doing? And I already regret asking you that because I know the answer, but let's chat here, why don't we?
Physically, I'm fine. Mentally and emotionally, I am not fine. I think that we had a lot of confidence and hope going into that Sunday night game. And my God, there was not an ounce of hope anywhere. Within the first 30 seconds, there was hope. And then after that, it was just not great. Not great.
No, not good at all. Before we get into this, folks, quick reminder, if you like Sam and I talking New York Football Giants, we are on several different platforms, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube at Big Blue Avenue. Appreciate all of your support. And let's get into the meat of the show here tonight. Folks, if you have any questions, comments, thoughts on anything, week 1, week 2, the season, whatever it may be, feel free to ask. We're here to help you out, try to get over this terrifying loss. It wasn't even just a loss. It was an obliteration. That's what it was. This might have been the worst loss in 40 years this franchise has suffered.
Just the fact that we're the only team in the entire league right now that hasn't put any points on the board, it's a little sad.
It's so bad. I don't really know what to say, what to make people feel better about. But what I will say is this is the first time the Giants have been shut out in 5 years. Worst offensive line performance in 2 decades. Let's be real here, Sam. Dallas had 7 sacks, but it might as well have been 20. Jones was hit 12 times on 35 passing plays, so he was either hit or sacked on 54% of his passes, and that is not a recipe for success, especially against a team like Dallas.
Yeah. Just the fact that this is one of the more embarrassing parts is the fact that Micah Parsons, who has a podcast now with some sort of something or other, basically came out and was like, I was expecting this line to be blocking me a lot more, but I was hitting Daniel Jones like nobody's business. They really need to be protecting their guy more. And I'm like, how embarrassing is it that the linebacker on the other team has to tell us that we have to protect our quarterback because he touched him too many times? That's just embarrassing. So I'm just upset about it.
Mm-hmm. And it doesn't include normal pressures or plays he had to scramble. Jones is pressured on 2 out of every 3 snaps, most in the NFL, 13.5% more than any other quarterback. I remind people, let's talk about the offensive line. Mark Glowinski had a PFF grade of 1. 1.0. Let's talk about him.
Oh, my God.
Sam, you were out Sunday night. Talk to me. What's going through your mind watching Mark Glowinski play football?
First of all, being out at a bar during this game was the least fun I've ever had out in my life. People were just booing. And everybody's wearing Giants jerseys. And the thing was, too, the bartender was wearing a Cowboys jersey. And I was like, wow, that's bold of him to be doing right now. And the whole time he's like, woohoo, I'm doing great, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, God, but Mark Glowinski, dude, did you even try? Did you even practice? Literally, it seemed like he had never played a snap of football a day in his life, which we obviously know is not true. Talk about Swiss cheese. There wasn't even any cheese. If he didn't play, it wouldn't have made a difference. It wouldn't have made a difference.
And there's plenty of more guys to talk about than just Mark Glowinski, but I want to spend a few minutes on this guy. 2015 day 3 pick out of West Virginia, played with Seattle, played with the Colts. He was part of the best offensive line in the National Football League in 2018. Mark Glowinski was good at one point. He was good with the Colts. That's why Joe Schoen gave him a 3-year contract. But at 31 years old, I think we have to ask this question. And it's very sad to ask because 9 pressures, horrible. 1 quarterback hit, 3 sacks allowed. Now, granted, Evan Neal was bad too. John Michael Schmitz had the bad snap on that first drive. Again, weather played a factor into that, but I don't want to use that as an excuse. Does Mark Glowinski need to be replaced? And if so, when? And this question isn't just for you, Sam. This is for everybody. But I'll start with your thoughts here on this because I know you're very passionate about this one.
I know that I texted you earlier this week because I saw that the Bengals had released Collins, who is obviously somebody who we are familiar with. And I was like, I don't even care. I don't even care. Drop Glowinski, bring in La'el Collins. Like I was like, it was like immediate reaction. Personally, you know, I'm interested to see how he's gonna play on Sunday against a quote unquote lower tiered team of the Cardinals. Cause like if we have another game looking like that against a team like the Cardinals, then we're in huge trouble and we're in a lot more of a hole than we thought we were. And at that point, like 2 weeks in, the fact that we already have to start making changes, not good. So I personally, right now in this moment in time and me being emotional and heated, yes, I think he needs to be replaced. If he puts on a better performance next week, sure, it'll be reconsidered. But at this moment in time, I don't even want to see him out on the field again.
Well, the bad news about that is he will start on Sunday at right guard. The good news is we're playing the Cardinals, who don't have they have a solid pass rush, believe it or not, even without Isaiah there anymore, but it's not as good as Dallas. It's not even close. It doesn't compare. Does Mark Glowinski need to be replaced? My answer to this question is yes, but right now with Andrew Thomas hurt, I don't think you could ill afford to bench him because his replacement might be starting at left tackle on Sunday against Arizona, and that's Josh Azudu, who I'm not too high on either. But right now, a 23-year-old Josh Azudu can't be worse than a 31-year-old Mark Glowinski, who had the worst game of his professional career and possibly ever. However, I will say this. People have gone a little bit too far about this. They commented on one of his Instagram photos saying they would not like him to protect them if they were hunting because he would not be able to protect them well. For those of you folks who don't know, Mark Glowinski likes to hunt. That's one of his hobbies when he's not playing football. That's what he likes to do. He's an outdoors guy. Well, folks, as much as we despise Mark Glowinski's performance as the football player on Sunday, this was not appropriate. I just want to call that out. This is way too far. The Giants' social media is so darn toxic.
Incredible.
I mean, if you want him benched, fine. We all want him benched. I mean, I don't think there's many people that don't at this point. But, yeah, don't go after him personally. It's not appropriate. He's trying. He's just not good. That's the reality of the situation.
Yeah. At the end of the day, there's no reason to be commenting on a picture that you said what posted like 5 years ago.
Yeah, he hasn't posted in like a year. So.
Oh, okay. But still,
there
like,
you go.
It's a little excessive. And you're right. New York Giants specifically, social media is just like the worst. I hate being on Giants Twitter and Giants Instagram.
Absolutely. It's definitely a toxic world and culture out there. What's up, Tudo? Massive salutes and respects to Tommy and Sam. It was the powder cheese, the Parmesan cheese. I see where he's going there. Okay. I like that, Tudo. Larry Johnson. Hey, Larry, congrats on the win. All right?
Yeah.
You got us. You got us. This is a humbling, humiliating moment, but I will say this. We will see you again this season, probably to lose again, but we won't lose by 40 points this time. I can guarantee you that.
I'd like to think that we'll put up points next time we play the Cowboys.
Yes, I'd like to think we'll lose by single digits, hopefully, next time around. But
hopefully.
Next up, Evan Neal. Is he an NFL offensive tackle? I say it's too soon to make that call, but right now I'm trending towards no. I mean, he has to improve quickly. Sam, 8 pressures, 1 sack allowed. Bad.
Yeah, incredibly bad. And we obviously were very high on Neal coming into. I mean, the entire NFL was high on Neal coming into the draft. It's not like he was like some 7th round pick that we got later on. Like, no, he was a 1st round pick that a lot of people had their eyes on. And the fact that Evan Neal, like, we saw him starting to struggle last year. And going into this year, I was anticipating, I don't know if my hopes were just too high or my expectations are too high, but I was expecting to see a much better performance out of him. I mean, yes, granted, we're over exaggerating on NFL week 1, but I was anticipating him to be a whole lot better. And even you've said it in the past, like, he needs to lose weight, he needs to be fitter, he needs to be that corner on the line. And right now he's not doing it. And I mean, he was amazing at Alabama, but being in New York, I don't know, something's not clicking, and I'm not sure what it is, but there's something missing here.
No, absolutely. I think he might be better suited off as a guard, but I want to give him the chance the rest of the season to prove that he's a tackle, because right now Andrew Thomas is hurt. We really shouldn't even be having this conversation yet about him switching positions, but it's fair to ask the question based off his performances. It is fair. But if there's a switch, Sam, I think it'll happen during the offseason. That's not something they could do to this kid mid-season. But 6'7" is awfully tall for a guard. I will say that. So, although we have seen tall players do it in the past.
Right.
Let's evaluate DJ and the offense. So, I don't know about you, Sam. First drive is going good. Barkley's running the ball. Jones is running the ball. All right, he's under some pressure. He's not getting like 10, 20-yard throws down the field, but they're moving the football. That's all you can ask.
Mm-hmm.
And then the false start by Andrew Thomas, which is very uncharacteristic of him, leads to the bad snap on John Michael Schmitz. And for those of you folks bashing the dead ball snap, he doesn't dead ball snap when Jones goes under center. He only does dead ball snap when he's in the shotgun formation. And basically, folks, that is the bottom of the nose of the football is dead on the ground, right? He doesn't do that when Jones is right under him. There's no reason to. It was a bad play. Yes. Was weather involved? Maybe. Probably. There was more good than bad, I thought, for John Michael Schmitz. I thought he was fine. I don't think he was the big issue at all, Sam. I think, Glowinski and Neal really shat the bed, and Thomas was playing hurt, which really affected Big Blue's offense altogether last night, and it led to this atrocious performance. But your thoughts on JMS's first career start?
Listen, that was your first start in the NFL, and if it's not raining, I know we were saying we're not giving the weather excuse, but if it's not raining, there's a very high possibility that that's not happening, that he's, worked this entire offseason making sure something like that doesn't happen. And I'm sure he was nervous and it happens, but I think that, it's the first game for a rookie. We got to work with him a little bit here. I'm sure it'll periodically get better, especially, with the improvements that not that I hope we're going to make, that we will be making, because if we don't, it's not good. The improvements that we will be making as a team as a whole, but specifically on the line, that I'm not worried about John Michael Schmitz. I feel like it's nerves, it's weather, it's a lot of different. You have freaking Micah Parsons coming at you. I know you're a big guy, but it's not an easy thing to do. So I'm not worried about him. And in terms of DJ, I know you'll agree with me when I say this, like, I know that he had some tough things this game, but like, this is not all of his fault. It really isn't. And we will always defend Daniel Jones unless he really does something terrible. But at the end of the day, with the line that he has, he can't do what he needs to do, because DJ needs time, and he was not granted any time at all on Sunday.
every quarterback needs time too. I mean, look, week 1, Patrick Mahomes, his receivers weren't doing well. You know, he had an offensive lineman that false started on every single play. Joe Burrow threw for 82 yards. I know he was hurt, but it's just crazy how Daniel Jones gets all this crap. And I'll be the first to say it. Daniel Jones had a bad game Sunday, but so did the rest of the football team. Okay?
Correct.
That pick 6, right, to Barkley, that's not on Jones. That was a good play by Dallas. Barkley couldn't hold on to the ball. The ball goes flying, and they return it for a touchdown. The pick to Stephon Gilmore, that's on him. But from DJ's perspective, at that point, Giants are down big, probably 20-0, 26-0. I forget what it was. He's trying to force the ball down the field. And he's probably just, Sam, I'll be honest with you. I think his mindset is, screw it. Let me just try to make a play and try to yak it in there. And that's why the pick happened.
My Bills pennant just fell down.
Oh, man. What a week it's been.
I did go through a bit of I went through like a fit of rage yesterday while I was filming my other podcast, Unsolicited, with our resident Eagles fan, Sporty Jordy, and I ripped down my pennants, and now they won't stick anymore.
Yeah, you know what? I would like to see that live, and I'm sure the folks would too. Let's plug that, Sam. Where can people see you ripping down the Giants and the Bills flag pennants?
Yeah, if you guys are interested in listening to me talk some more football, we also talk about some pop culture things and other things going on in the world. You can check out Unsolicited Podcast with Sam and Jordan, hosted by me and Sporty Jordy. Yeah, we're on YouTube and podcasting platforms at the Unsolicited Podcast. And you can follow us at the Unsolicited_podcast everywhere. So it's it was a fun time. Jordan really she was a little concerned for me, but I needed to get it out, and I put them back up because, you know, I'm not going to just bail out on my team on week 1, but I needed to get a little bit of rage out because I was incredibly angry.
Oh, absolutely. I don't blame you. And I don't blame Noah for posting this. A fitting representation of the Bills losing to Zachary.
Hey, maybe that's a sign. Maybe like the Giants are still standing, but the Bills fell. We're bringing this clip back if that's true.
Yeah, Dallas owns the Giants. It's hard to go against the Giants week 1. You know, the team improved talent-wise. A lot of people are saying they bridged the gap against Dallas. Yeah, it's a learning curve. We were wrong, but I mean, I don't think fans were wrong to think that the Giants had a shot to win that game based off of what happened last year, the off season.
I know a lot of people who thought the Giants were going to win on Sunday. Because it was not a crazy thought at the time.
No, it wasn't a crazy thought, but we were wrong. It just, I agree. I don't think it was a crazy thought at all. Now it seems like a crazy thought, but again, and this is where I think the NFL games are won and lost on things like this, right? The weather is horrible. The field goal gets blocked, you know, poor assignment, protection. They return it for a touchdown, right? If that play doesn't happen, if the play before, the John Michael Schmitz play doesn't happen, the whole trajectory of the game could have been changed. I'm not saying we would have won. I doubt we would have won, but the game would have been much closer than 40-0. You know, Dak wasn't exposed enough. You know, he wasn't exposed to potentially making mistakes. Like Brian Attard said last week, Dallas's offense was off the field for majority of this game, quite frankly. You know, and they had a short field several times. The Giants' defense did not look bad at all. They had some bad plays, but there was more good than bad from their defense. Bobby Okereke had a forced fumble. The bad for the defense, Sam, I thought there was no pass rush. Thibodeau and Ojulari were non-existent. And then Dexter Lawrence was really the only one that stood out on the defensive front. So there's that.
For sure.
But, and then another thing I wanted to mention, Darren Waller.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
that hamstring is going to. You could tell he wasn't 100%. You can just tell.
And,
He had 3
and
catches for 36 yards.
And it's not even like a traditional hamstring. It has to do with his nerves, which is like
Mhm.
really scary to think about. It's not just a muscle thing that can be rehabbed in any way. Like it seems not great. I mean, I'm sure it'll fix. I don't know how it works. I don't know how it works. But yeah, he did not
Yeah,
look
I'll be honest.
like the person I was anticipating him to be as well.
I'm with you. I don't know how these hamstring injuries work either. I would love to tell you and say he's going to be fine the rest of the season, but I can't guarantee you that. In fact, I probably predict that he's going to miss some time this season or games, if he gets banged up a little bit. But he led all Giants receivers in receiving. Um, I mean,
With
only
36
5 of
yards.
15. Yeah, only 36 yards and only 5 completions were to wide receivers. Only 5. Not
Well,
good.
I just pulled up a quick article just to see, where we were at with that. And apparently he doesn't seem very concerned about it at all. Um, he said, "Nah, I'm playing on Sunday." They asked him if they were going to be concerned about it moving forward. He said, "No, not really." So I don't know if he's just saying that for the media, but sounds like it's not a huge concern.